week's edition of the SAU Men's and Women's Track and Field Coaches Show. I'm Jacob Pumphrey with MillerAthletics.com, and I'm joined alongside the head coach of both of those programs, Coach Tim Servis. And Coach, let's go ahead and jump into last weekend. You had you went to the Harding Invitational, and along with Harding, there was Arkansas Tech had some athletes present. Hendrix, I believe, the University of the Ozarks also had some athletes, but it was a dual meet between you and the Bisons and the Lady Bisons. The first time you were able to see their athletes at this point in the spring championship season of the track and field. Recap a little bit about what you saw out of your athletes. You had a lot of athletes on both the men's and women's side that produced some impressive times, as well as some marks in some of the field events as well.
Well, it was a very good meet. It was nicely ran. One thing that hurt our times a little bit, although we did run fast, there was a big headwind, and so that kind of slowed the runners down, especially the sprinters running into a big headwind. And so both Harding and our times weren't nearly as fast as what we wanted most of the events. There were times when the headwind had slowed down a little bit, but for the most part we were running into probably at least 14-mile-per-hour headwind, it seemed like. So it got pretty rough at times, but the competition, the conditions were the same for both of us, and so it was nice to get to see what they were capable of doing, and I have a lot of respect for them. They are a very good team. I think if you look at us from last year to this year, you would be able to tell that we have improved a lot. So that was a pretty good indication, that I got while watching this meet, that we definitely had improved a lot, because we did a lot better against Harding this year than we did last. We beat Harding in many events, which Harding is a solid track and field program. They've been around, their program's been around and been a powerhouse in the NCAA for a long time, and so to beat them in many events was, a pretty good feeling, because, we're moving in the right direction. Now, one thing Harding had on us was a lot of depth. Although we do have a pretty big team, especially for a second-year program, they had a lot of depth. So they were able, being that we're scoring at dual meet, they were able to fill a lot of events with people in which we did not have any for. That being said, it was easier for them to score points, because if you have a lot of people on your team and you're doing a dual meet and there's 4 places scoring, you're going to see they're going to pretty much get points by default. So that's kind of what happened there. And so a dual meet and a meet with a lot of competitive teams, things can be different. And I think that's where we would be better, because at the front end of our team we have some outstanding athletes. Krantz Higgins, he jumped 7.5 meters, which was the 4th. At the time it was the 2nd best jump in the country, but then there's a couple people that jumped that day, so we moved back to 4th. But I thought that was an outstanding long jump for him, and being that he's a redshirt freshman, that's amazing, because we're going to have him for many more years, and I would assume he's going to improve a lot. So that's kind of what I mean by moving in the right direction.
In just the second year of the program, there's a lot of excitement surrounding both the men's and women's teams. This weekend you have another chance to go and compete against some of the top competition in the region, and also in a higher up level there'll be a lot of Division I teams competing this weekend as you go down to Stephen F. Austin to compete in the Skechers Carl Knight Invitational. Talk a little bit about what you're expecting out of your athletes. What do you think the weather will be like, and how that will contribute to some success as y'all. You're in the heart of your track and field season right now, but the conference championships are inching closer and closer each day.
Yes, they are, and we're excited about it, because, like I said, we've seen a lot of progress, and so our team's confidence has really been boosted. Especially going into this meet, seeing the men they know now that they're ranked number 10 in the region, and our region is the second most difficult region in the United States. So the strongest region in the United States, second strongest region in the United States is what I was trying to say. Anyway, so that's something to be proud of, and I think that they're going into this meet with a lot more confidence. But what we would like to see out of this meet is improved times. Stephen F. Austin has a state-of-the-art track and field complex. It's going to be the best track and field complex that we ran on all season. With nice tracks come fast times, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for some fast times, and so this will be a real privilege to run on a facility such as theirs, and to run against some really fast people. Runners they tend to pull each other along. You get a fast 100-meter race with fast runners, they're going to push each other to do better. If you win the 100 meters by a couple seconds, you're probably not going to run your fastest time because you're so far ahead. It's hard to push yourself. I'm thinking that we're going to have a lot of personal records. We might even break some school records. And hopefully, do a lot better and maybe get higher on the regional rankings.
Both the Lady Mule Riders and Mule Rider track and field teams will compete in a 2-day event this weekend at Stephen F. Austin at the Skechers Carl Knight Invitational. There will be some field events on Friday as well as the distance events, and then Saturday we'll conclude with a couple more of the jumping events as well as the sprint events and things of that. But Coach, best of luck this weekend, and here's to no headwinds and fast times.
All right, thanks.